day, neighbor. I am so glad you stopped by. I want to welcome back my subscribers, and I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Today, I'm going to be talking about planting tomatoes and tomato seeds. So let's get started. There are so many different varieties of tomatoes. You can have the large beefsteak. You can have the sweet 100s. You can have the cherry tomatoes, the Roma tomatoes. So many types of tomatoes. So there's a tomato for everyone out there. So the tomatoes enjoy fertile soil, not hard packed clay, nice loose soil so they can grow. Again, I get the same question. Am I supposed to put these tomatoes in the sun, in the partial shade? Where do they grow? How do they grow? Well, they like 6 to 8 hours of sun each day. I suggest to have a cage or some type of support to keep the tomato plants off the ground. Now, they make tomato cages. You can make your own tomato cages. You can even have a tomato plant or plants that are growing up against a chain link fence, and you can secure them to the chain link fence so they don't fall over. I did that last year in some of my gardens, and it worked well. These were the sweet 100 tomatoes, and it just keeps those tomatoes off the ground. So, should I plant in the ground? Again, I have an apartment or condo. Can I put a tomato plant in a pot? Of course you can. I suggest to get maybe a 5-gallon bucket and put holes in the bottom. It needs to be well drained, whatever container you have. If you don't want a 5-gallon bucket, just get a nice planter. Make sure the drainage hole's there, and plant your tomato in there. I also suggest you can get a plain tomato cage. You can get a decorative tomato cage that matches your pot if you wish. However you want to do it on your patio is your choice. So, I add fish emulsion to all of my vegetables. Now, if you plant your tomatoes in the ground, it can go search for more and more minerals. The roots can. In a pot or container, it's exactly what that means. It's contained. So you need to make sure and feed it correctly because it doesn't have anywhere to go search for more nutrients. Okay, so when am I supposed to plant these tomatoes? Late spring, early summer. You can actually start the seeds inside in the sunny window, or if you have grow lights. Again, don't forget to harden your plants before you put them out in the garden or in a container. They have to get used to their environment little by little. So I've planted the seeds, and I want tomatoes. So when am I going to get some tomatoes so I can have them in a salad or on a hamburger? It takes between 60 and 100 days, depending on your variety, so check your varieties, to produce tomatoes. It could be shorter, of course, but it could take a little bit longer. Usually it's between 60 and 100 days. Now, I want to make sure that I water my tomatoes correctly. So, how much water do they need? Well, as the temperatures increase and the plants grow, you could have to water your tomatoes 2 times a day. It depends. They like moist soil, but not wet soil. Again, they would need 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. But too much sun is not good. You don't want to burn them. They can be draped with shade cloth or moved into the shade if they're in a container on a patio. Now they like slightly acidic soil. In the afternoon sun, I make sure and shade my tomato plants. It depends on where the garden is. If it's too far out, I'll have shade cloth I can drop on them. And also, if you add calcium to the dirt around the tomatoes, that's great. Personally, I do not add eggshells because you have to make sure that you take the eggshells, you wash them completely, you dry them, and then you crush them. You want to make sure they're completely clean because eggs, you're going to have salmonella, and you don't want to pass that along to your vegetables in your garden. I find that if I'm going to add calcium to some of my plants, I use milk, diluted milk. It's a great source of calcium for plants. Well, I am so glad you stopped by today. I hope you grow tomatoes in your garden or in your containers. Some people have sunrooms and they actually grow them in sunrooms in their homes. And they do fairly well because they're right by a sunny window. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the videos coming up. In the comments below, again, let me know what tomatoes you're going to grow. Is it Sweet 100? Is it Beefsteak? It's a very large tomato. Or is it are they cherry tomatoes? I appreciate you stopping by, and I wish you great gardening.